Hey, got the dub, but who else won this game? Let's talk about this preseason victory over the Minnesota Vikings after the intro. Welcome back to From the Cheap Seats. I'm your host, Bonafide, and let's take a look at this past weekend's preseason victory over the Minnesota Vikings. We beat them. It's preseason, but we're still going to talk about it. So let's jump right into it. So we knew that Will Levis wasn't going to play this game. We got that news from all the beat reporters that he was not going to dress out. So this was going to be the Malik show. We talked about it in the preview. What could Malik do to capitalize or lock up that QB2 spot? And he played the entire game, sans two little gimmick plays from Mason Kinsey. And to be brutally honest, he had an up and down games. Now, in my opinion, he had more ups than he had downs. For the most part, from the passing perspective, Malik, he went 10 of 17 for 85 yards with a TD pass to Chestnut. And he had an interception. It was a really good play by the linebacker. The linebacker was supposed to, he sat down on a route basically and picked Malik off. But Malik had two droppable passes by Chig. Chig dropped those two passes, and that could have added to the total. May have made this night look a little bit better. But when he wasn't passing, Malik was using his legs, and he used his legs a lot in that game, to the tune of almost 11 carries for 91 yards. And he had a couple of kneel downs, so that took away from the numbers. But he made plays with his legs when he needed to. But for the most part, he did a good job. In this particular case, anybody that was running the ball was doing a good job. I mean, the ground game was cooking, and that brought me a lot of delight. Spears, we'll talk about him a little bit later, had a nice TD run. Chestnut had almost 100 yards on the ground himself. Couple that with Malik, they had 281 yards on the ground. Spears on his TD run was showing so shifty that he hurdled a player and then boom, hit that burst and took it to the end zone. It was a 33-yard touchdown. So, that made me feel really good about the offensive line. The first stringers stayed in there for a couple of series. I think they had maybe 2 or 3 series, but they stayed in there and they went to work. They looked good. Justin Murray, from all accounts, all the podcasts I looked at and heard about, said that he looks good. And, maybe we want to see him run with the ones. Maybe he's kind of locked down that temporary right tackle position while NPF is out suspended. But, alleviated some concerns that we had last game with the offensive line. Again, Eric Garrett, I'm not even going to really talk too much about it. The dude was flying around, special teams, defense, making tackles. The dude is going to make the team. I'd be shocked if he don't make the team. Tierra Tart, I think this may have been some type of punishment because he got kicked out of joint practices for throwing a punch. Was the only starter who played on the defense, but he showed you why he was a starter. That man was out there wrecking that offensive line, and he was in the backfield consistently. Another bright spot, and we'll talk about him in our stock up, stock down, but Caleb Murphy, man. That dude had 2 sacks, man, and them joints was ferocious. So, I like him. We're gonna talk about him a little bit more. But let's go to the next segment. QB2 spot. Was it locked up? Did Malik do enough to lock this spot up? Now, he had a good game. It wasn't great by any means, but it wasn't terrible like most are saying, or most pundits. I think it was just all right, he had the fumble, the sacks, the interception on a heady play by the Vikings linebacker. When I was listening to Music City Audible, which is a dope podcast, Justin Graver, who is Titans Film Room, who is also on the top 15 Titans Twitter accounts that you should follow. Reason being, he kind of spoke on, when he was looking at the tape, it seemed like McMath was supposed to undercut the linebacker, but he didn't. He kind of went over the top, and Malik can't throw that pass in any retrospect. He went through his progressions, threw the pass, it was right to the linebacker, it was turnover. You cannot turn the ball over. But I think he did a good job in the game. His legs, he used his legs. He didn't, when the pocket collapsed, he tried to make positive gains, get positive yards. He slid. He didn't try to take on unnecessary hits. So, you know, he almost had 100 yards on the ground. Now, you can go back and look at any other channel and find all the breakdowns of things. This is the fan channel. I'm going to tell you how I am as a fan. The way I look at it is if Willis does end up locking down QB2, and he's the QB2 in this thing, he's going to have to be there. The only reason why we would see him is Kelly may have some gimmick plays that he wants, or it's because he's coming in for relief of Ryan Tannehill. Now, when I think about that, I'm saying, okay, Malik is there. He's going to be playing with Henry, Spears, the first string offensive line. He's going to have DeAndre Hopkins to throw to. He's going to have Chig to throw to. Burks when he comes back. So it's going to be a vastly more talented team that can make plays for him when he comes in versus what he's playing with now. Now, you could probably play devil's advocate and say, well, yeah, McLean, if he's playing with better offensive players, he's going to be playing against better defensive players. True, it is what it is. But I'm looking at it from that standpoint. If he can do what he needs to do, he can keep us in some games. And I think he did a good job. You know, to be fair to him, he was always projected to be a 3-year project. That's how I saw him. Now, yeah, we had rumblings last year about, oh, should he start? Should he take over for Ryan Tannehill? We knew that wasn't the case. And then this year, we knew that this was going to be the thing between him and Will Levis, because obviously Will Levis was drafted in the 2nd round. He's a 3rd rounder. There was going to be some innate competitions here. So he's in year 2. He's shown the improvement. He's shown that he's willing to put in the work. So I am leaning more favorably or a little bit more positive in his performance than some others will be. But I don't think he slammed the door shut. I don't think it's locked up, padlocked, throw away the key in there. Because, you know, but Levis not playing or the injury, no matter how insignificant it may be or significant it may be, it may have given some breathing room between him being QB2 and Levis being QB2 in that regard. So I think, you know, just got to keep on saying, hopefully, I would like to see Levis play the 3rd preseason game. I would like to see him take a couple steps. You know what? I would even go this far. I would like to see Levis start the 3rd preseason game. Let him take those snaps. If he's not doing good, if he's out there getting blasted, then give the reins to Malik, let him close out the game. But I want to see him with the first string. I want to see what he can. Is he a good quarterback? Give him the opportunity. Obviously, we're in a position where we can do that. Give him the opportunity to see if he can win. But I don't think Malik locked up this position, but I think he did give himself a little lead. Let's go to everybody's favorite segment. Stock up, stock down. Well, it's not everybody's favorite segment, but it's a good one anyway. Stock up. Tyjae Spears. Look, man, look. This is who we thought we were going to get when we signed Dexter McCluster and Darrington Evans and Dion Lewis. We thought we were going to get a dynamic back that could catch out the backfield, that could run, that was shifty, that was boom, boom, boom. This Spears is that. He is that and much more. That run was so smooth. The man came in, I think it was between the tackles too. He came in, hit the hole, and a Vikings defender was coming for the lower leg. Hit the hurdle on that boy, like David Oliver back in 2008. My homie, shout out to David Oliver, 2008 Olympic bronze medalist in the 110 meter hurdles. That's what they looked like. He right over him, boom, and then he hit the jets like Usain Bolt. I don't know where I'm getting all these Olympic metaphors from, but that's what I feel. Spears, stock is up. He is RB2. I don't care what you say. He RB2. Caleb Murphy, stock up. 2 sacks in a game. That ain't shabby, my boy. You know what I'm saying? He showed some burst, some ability to get to the quarterback. I mean, he could be your edge. He could be a backup edge. I'm telling you, man. The man set the NCAA record. Even though he went to a Division II school, Ferris State, but he set an NCAA record. And man, it was just like the move, the wiggle, one of the sacks was just like, it was like, oh. And then how can I not be a fan of someone who celebrates the sack doing the Karate Kid, baby? The Karate Kid? Caleb Murphy, stock up. Just call me the president of the Eric Guerra fan club because stock is up. Once again, showed up. He's a baller, plain and simple. I'm not going to beat this dead horse because he is just playing. He's got to make the squad. I need Eric Guerra on my Tennessee Titans football team. All right, Jalen Duncan. He's an offensive tackle rookie. He only played 13 blocking snaps, and then he went in with an injury. You know, obviously not what you want to see, especially when there's some spots still up for grabs. So hopefully we'll see some improvement from him. Hopefully he's not dinged up too bad. He can play this week and we can see him in that third preseason game. But yeah, now this is for my favorite segment is Bonafide banter, okay? So watching the game, these are my thoughts when I'm watching the game. So first of all, Kyle Phillips is injured again. I know injuries are part of the game. I know you can't avoid it, but I am quickly coming to the conclusion that he might not be who we thought he was going to be or could be. I mean, when he's on the field, he's great, but that's the thing. He ain't on the field. He got injured, I think, returned the punt. I think they said it was an MCL injury, so it's a knee. We don't know how significant it is, things like that. You know, he was a 5th round pick, and like I said, when he shows the flashes, they are there. But the boy cannot stay out of the blue medical tent. And that's going to be a problem, man. Another thing I know, the offensive line didn't look offensive, you know, they blocked pretty well. Like I said, the ground game, 281 yards on the ground, two rushing, I think a rushing touchdown from Chestnut and a rushing touchdown from Spears. Yeah, so they didn't look bad. Even the backups, man, maybe they watched the tape and said, hey, look, we got to get this thing in gear. But yeah, they got it together. They did look good. The first stringers look good again this end. So I do see some consistency when you get them snapped. You know, hey, still got some kinks to work out, but it does look like maybe the offensive line could be good. Okay. Chig, my boy, you got to catch them balls. Okay. I know they weren't perfect. I know they may add a little heat on, but if they hit you in the fingers, Chig, you gotta catch them. You the guy. You know who won it. You Chig, you the breakout star. I mean, I know. Look, I'm not gonna beat the dead horse, Chig, but just, man, you just gotta catch them things, man. Next time, catch them things for it. All right, cool. Mason Kinsey. Now I know in the first from the Chiefs season, he's like, we ain't even talking about Mason Kinsey, but this dude Mason Kinsey is going to make this football team. He is going to be on the 53-man roster, not the practice squad, but the 53-man roster. I mean, look, no matter how hard you hate on Kinsey, the boy just keep going. He unstoppable. Okay, he is just, he gonna break the roster. You can't deny it no more. So I'm here to say, hey, Mason Kinsey gonna be on the roster. You heard it here first. Section 240. Again, Julius Chestnut, that's RB3 right there, okay? That boy, special teams, third running down. I mean, look, Hassan, Haskins, Ward, Patrick. Don't let that contract that they just gave to Patrick fool you. But yeah, they might be, some U-Hauls may be coming to their house, because we know the Kang gonna stay the Kang, like I said. But Chestnut and Spears have made it known that they are RB2 and RB3. So yeah, that's all I got for the Bonafide banter. So closing this show out, coming up next week or this week or tomorrow, whenever you're seeing this, is going to be, we were going to have joint practices with the Pats, but because of an injury to Isaiah Bolden, we're wishing him all the best, they decided to cancel it. So Mike Vrabel's doing a couple things a little bit different. I think they're going to have a blue and white game. College vibes. College football coming on this weekend too. So they're going to have a blue and white scrimmage. I think Stretch is going to be the coach of one. Terrell's going to be the coach of one. I think they may split the teams up. It's going to be dope. I'm going to be glued to the beat writers tomorrow to see if I can get some video, things like that. But yeah, definitely going to do that. But obviously on Friday, we have the preseason game with the Pats. They're still going to come down. We're still going to play them. And then, that's it. This is the last preseason game. This is the last chance to flash against competition before cut day. I think we're a week away from cut day, where we're going to have to go from 90 men on the roster to 53 men on the roster. And then we'll be a couple of weeks away from the beginning of the season. So definitely. So don't forget to tune in to our preview of that game that's going to come out later this week. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on the channel, and share this with your fellow Titans fans. Thanks for all the new followers. We're up to 260 at the time of this filming, and we are steadily moving up to the road to 1,000 subs, because there is plenty room in the section for us all. Again, shout out to the Morris label for the dope beats. Hope you enjoyed the show. And until next time, tighten up.